my name's Bruce Riordan. I'm standing here with Linda Bateman, and she's asking a couple questions about Strathmere. What do I remember? The first topic we'll talk about is the water company. The water company was owned by a fellow by the name of James Panunto, and the name of his company for the water was Aramingo Water Company. He also was the same fellow and family who owned the Bayview Motel. There were 3 different Bayview motels. And then his health was failing, and I'm going to say probably 35 years ago, he left to go, and actually the township was in the water business for a short time, and then they awarded the contract, or what's called the franchise, to New Jersey American Water. When he passed away, there was no water down in Whale Beach. It actually stopped at the trailer park. And with New Jersey American Water, they tied in with Sea Isle. So they actually put water through into Sea Isle. And shortly after that, they actually built the new water tower, which is there today.
And the other big deal was the bulkhead along the beach.
The bulkhead along the beach, again, I was 5 in '62, so I was young. I was here. We actually got, my family was evacuated to the Coast Guard station, which was opened, and I was airlifted off the bridge in a helicopter. But in terms of the bulkhead, right after the '62 storm, the Federal Corps of Army Engineers drew a berm line the length of the island, and pretty much you were allowed to build on the west side of it. On the east side, you were not allowed to build. The bulkhead was erected from Seaview up to Sherman. It was put in about 1964 when that was put in. It was interesting because, again, I've been told that all the folks behind it actually had to pay for like 10 years to support that bulkhead. And one interesting fact on that was, in '62, my mother was the building inspector for the entire township. She actually, all the building permits were issued out of our real estate office. We're still here in town today, which is kind of an interesting fact. But the bulkhead was definitely put in. It probably saved a number of homes in town. But like I said, it was financed by the residents, each resident.
Some people have said that the closer you lived to the bulkhead, the more you were assessed. Was that?
Linda is absolutely correct. Yeah, it was I can't remember what the money was, but yeah, if you were oceanfront, you paid more than second, third back. But as everybody, with the exception of the folks on the Strathmere Bay, the Bay people did not pay for the bulkhead. But that's the way I remember the bulkhead. The Strathmere Firehouse is probably about 85 years old. I've been chief well over 35 years of it. We've always been at the same location. And about 30 years ago, the fire company built the new firehouse, which you see it today. Today we actually have 4 trucks. We have 1 pumper to our left, which Linda can scan a little bit. Behind me we have our storm truck.
This is the pumper?
That's the pumper, yeah. That was purchased last September, so it's just about a year old. Very nice pumper. It also carries 50 gallons of foam, which is the firefighting, the new improved way. Behind it, which she's scanning to, that is our storm truck. We actually got that from the New Jersey Forestry. They donated that to our fire company, and then our members painted it, built it in the back. And what we do is we use that for any storm, and then it also has the ability to evacuate. This past January, Sea Isle had a very bad fire. We actually had 6 guys go to Sea Isle and help assist to put the fire out. And then we have 2 pickups. We have one here, and then one to Linda's back. Basically, we use those for any type of beach rescue, which we do a lot because we're an island. On any given year, On average, we do about 60 calls. Of the 60 calls, about 50 are medical, and then we have about 10 fires as well as automobile accidents, etc. Today we have about 20 members. Of the 20 members, we have 12 that are active. We have 6 that are EMTs. So we run all the medicals with the assistance of Ocean City Ambulance and Fire. So that is our fire department.
So you started to say you do beach rescues and you do house fires, accidents. Is that a unique kind of training for your members?
Yeah, I mean, today we have, I have 6 that are EMTs, and then we have about 15 that are CPR certified, and then they also have first aid. So yeah, on pretty much any 911 emergency, with the exception of the police end of it, we go. So I mean, we pretty much see it all. We do a lot of beach stuff. When either we assist the lifeguards, or when they're not on duty, we actually have. We've probably in the last 6 years had 4 saves out of the ocean, water rescues.
So do you work with the Coast Guard too?
Yes, we do. We work with the Coast Guard. We work with the New Jersey State Police, Marine Unit on it, and then Ocean City also. We do have a fire jet ski, and then which Ocean City does too. So usually we pair them up, so we end up with 2 jet skis.
And your son Brian has gone into some cold water from time to time, hasn't he?
Yes, yeah. We had a save, I guess about 2 years ago in December, down, it was just before Christmas, on an incoming tide. There was a fella in a kayak that turned over without a life jacket on. And he
In waders
pulled
or
him
something,
out.
wasn't he?
With waders, yes. And he was, and the water, if I recall, was 35, and it was very, very cold. But yeah, he definitely. And then Morgan, who owns Whale Creek Marina, he also was one of our younger. Between him and Brian, they're very, very good with the saves.
Was Brian involved in the car accident where the kids flew off the bridge and into the water?
Yeah.
Was that Brian also?
Yeah.
He went in that day too?
No, he didn't. Actually, there was a lifeguard that went in on that. One of our beach patrol members went in. But again, both of those were saved, which was a very happy story.
Can you talk a little bit about the role of the fire company and kind of the social life in town, or some of the activities? It seems to be a hub for an awful lot that goes on.
Well, I mean, in our building we share. So we have our fire company meets here. We have the Improvement Association, which Linda's president of. We also have the citizens groups meets here. And then it's pretty much like she said, it's a hub for any, like last week we had one of our residents who was 80 years old, so they had a birthday party for him. So it's definitely
Fishing club meets here sometimes?
I neglected to say, yeah, the fishing club definitely meets here. So anybody in town, any organization is absolutely welcome to meet here. And then I know like Karen's had some, she's had some groups. Karen Mitchell's had some groups. I think last year she had something with potting soil. They were here.
Yeah.
So.
And so your family has been here 3 generations?
Yeah. We opened our office about 1955. So we've been
The real estate office.
The real estate office, right? So we've been here. So I'm happy to report my son and his wife are due for our first grandkids first week in December.
So you lived here year-round from about what age?
I was actually born in Seal City in the old Mercy Hospital.
Oh.
There used to be a Mercy Hospital which closed, I guess it was about 62. And so I was born and lived here all my life.
Did you mind being isolated?
It's all I know, so honestly I enjoy it. No, we have a very, very nice town. I mean, it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. 99% of the time it's a real good thing. I mean, people do look out for each other.
Was anybody else in town when you were growing up? Did you have friends?
Yeah, when I was younger, there were probably about 12 kids.
Really?
Today there's 4. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's really gone down in terms of the kids. And then we went to Upper Township from kindergarten to 8th grade, and then we're ascending district to Ocean City High.
And who were some of these friends? Is there anybody we should talk to?
You could talk to the Anderses, are a real good, real good family. They actually lived on, you nickname it, on Linda Street, which is Tecumseh. Eddie he just retired the son, Eddie Jr., from the bridge, and then the dad actually worked for the bridge, the Cape Bay County Bridge Commission for a long time. But he would be good, both
Did they
ends.
have a fishing boat in town?
They did. They had an uncle, right, who owned the Starfish, and then their grandmother owned Florrie's Luncheonette, which is about 3 doors north of Twisty's, right on the bay. It's the old Weaver House, as we call it.
Yeah.
But that was the Luncheonette.
Well, speaking of the Weaver's house, that one in Kruger's was a massive fire, wasn't it? One
Yeah,
Christmas?
that was
Christmas
it
Eve?
was exactly right. Yeah, it was Christmas, probably about 12 years ago. It was one of the worst fires we had, and it was actually Dr. Kruger's and Lydia's that started the fire, and then it spread over to the Weavers. Fortunately, nobody got hurt. Both houses were total loss.
And can you think of anybody else, any long-timers that we may be overlooking?
Debbie is a good one, right next door, who's whip camp, or now she's Vandergrift, married Butch. You have the Mays. I don't think they're in town, but they still have a house here.
On the bay, yeah.
Yeah, on the bay.
And next door used to be Ernie's, is that what it was?
That was Ernie's Corner, right. Actually, when I was smaller, when I was real little, I remember it as Harker's. It was a mobile station. They had a gas station. And then Ernie bought it, Ernie and Blondine, and they had it for a number of years, and then they sold it.
I heard they had good soup.
They had terrific soup, and I still rent to their son.
How about
so
that?
it's pretty neat. I mean,
And then after Ernie's, it was a pizza place?
It was a pizza place for a short term. Can't think of the name of it, but yeah.
And now
then,
it's
now it's La
Oh,
Fontana. Yeah. It's been a couple of restaurants. You know who would be a good one to talk to is the Raffas, Sally and Andy.
Yeah.
Because Andy actually, that's his only job he ever had. He
At Mildred's.
started at Mildred's for Mildred and Charlie, who were the owners. And an interesting fact on the original Strathmere restaurant was the Lanark Diner, which was just outside of Philadelphia on City Line Avenue. And I gave Sally a picture. Sally has a picture of the diner when it was delivered to the site, which was probably right around 1960.
So, and that was brought down here to become Mildred's?
It was
That's the diner?
and it was Charlie and Mildred started it with her brother Frank. And then Andy started working there, I think he started when he was very, very young. But he'll have some good facts, in terms of the restaurant.
So can we talk a little bit about the 4th of July parade? And that's something that we co-sponsor. You guys are out in the sun directing traffic, but...
Yeah, the 4th of July parade is awesome. My wife's favorite day of the year. Like Linda said, it's sponsored by the Strathmere Improvement Association, along with the fire company. And that started actually, you might want to talk to Sarah Boardman, who was right at the end. Sarah Boardman and Mrs. Dunn started that parade
Really?
years ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then it's just gotten bigger and bigger. Today we actually have to get a permit to close the road, but it is a nice day in Strathmere. It's a very, very nice day in town.
Speaking of permits, I was told a story of a house being moved from Whale Beach to Strathmere with a young man riding on top of the roof holding up the electrical lines after the storm, and obviously things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
How do we keep our small town that everybody seems to want in this time of big buildings and new FEMA heights and all of that?
Well, I mean, basically, if you look at Strathmere in terms of the development, we still are a single-family community. You still have to, you can't build a duplex. We do have pretty tight building regulations. Again, like Linda said, that since Sandy, they have changed the regulations and made it higher. But at the end of the day, you still have a single family. And I would say the number one reason for that would be non-sewers. We still are governed with the Cape May County Health Department. The regulations are very, very tough to be able to build a new house. So as long as that's around, I think you're going to see the integrity stay with the town.
And now I'm switching to the real estate business now.
Okay.
What is it that people want? Why do they come here?
I would say the number one reason I hear is quiet. It's still an old town. Only 20% of the town rents, which if you go to neighboring communities, it's 80%. So we are the exception, meaning Strathmere is the exception to a lot of the different, compared to our neighbors of the summer clientele. But it's still, basically there's 5 businesses in town. You can still leave your windows open. You can leave your keys in your car. It's a very, very safe community. And I think that speaks of our residents. The residents really somewhat police the town amongst themselves. And it's a happy place.
So you have any fishing stories we should hear?
Fishing story somewhere. Actually, I think it's on, if you go to strathmere.net, Carol Baker's website. There was once a big shark that was caught, and it was at the May property, who you could interview them, at the end of their dock. Pretty sure she has a picture of that fish on there. And then
And you caught it?
No, I had nothing. I was really young. No, I did not catch it. And then I think also, speaking of fish, there's another one with the whale on Whale Beach, which again, Whale Beach is a nickname. Whale Beach is still Strathmere, but it's nicknamed Whale Beach. But there is a picture on there of the whale on the beach, which is pretty neat.
And you remember that? Were you here for that?
I don't remember either. I've seen pictures.
Yeah,
I remember the fish at Mays when I was small, but I don't remember the whale.
Any childhood memories? Any family memories you'd like to share?
It's, growing up here, like Linda did say, it is quiet, but once you get used to it, it's a good place to grow up. I had a happy childhood, and like I said, we've raised our family here, and now we're expecting our first grandchild, and hopefully, they'll stay here and enjoy what we all like to love and share.
You're also the emergency management coordinator, is that correct?
Correct. Basically, what that is that's a position given from the township, and then in any storm that I'm in charge of the evacuations, God forbid if there's any damage, to assess it. And I report directly to the township and then the mayor.
What keeps you awake at night? You have any worries?
No, I sleep good now. We're lucky with the windows open most of the time. So no, I really don't have any worries. I think I'm very fortunate to live here, to raise my family, and to enjoy what I think we all like to enjoy.
Is there anything you'd like to see happen in town?
No. Honestly, like I said, we are growing now in terms of the houses are a little bit bigger. But I hope it stays very similar to what we've all grown to admire.
And is the real estate office on the Pokemon trail?
We are not, but it is one across the street. So we do see a lot of little kids on bicycles, believe it or not, with their phones. So.
Yeah. And any future plans for the fire company? I know you just did the carpeting, which was a behemoth job.
Yeah, pretty much since I said earlier, the building's about 30 years old. We have a 10-year plan. So I'm going to say about 3 or 4 years ago, we put a new roof on, and then we put new siding on, and then like Linda just attested to, last fall we painted, and then we just finished with the carpeting. So we try to keep the building up, and we're very, very fortunate to not be in debt. Pretty much right now, everything that we own is free and clear, which helps us. But we run a very, very frugal fire company.
And on average in the summertime, I guess no 2 days are the same, but about how many runs do you make in a week?
In the summer, for July and August, pretty much we're going to do 50. We'll have 50 calls. Like there was one day, it was a Saturday in July where we had 3 calls the same day. So we were very busy in the summer.
And then after Sandy that spring, when people's electrical things started rusting out, you had a few.
Yeah, we
fires
had
on Sandy.
2 major fires because of Sandy, or the water, the tidal water, and then we probably had 6 minor fires where they were electrical. Unfortunately, no big loss, minor appliances, etc.